Here's a Go struct with a field called title and the template that prints it. Watch what one rename does. Change title to text. It still compiles, the server boots, and the page renders nothing where the task name was. No error, no stack trace, no failing test. Just a blank cell in production, found by a user days later. That blank cell is why this video exists. Go is obsessive about types, right up until it starts writing HTML. Its built-in templates are strings. The compiler never reads them, it hands them to the runtime and hopes. One tool closes that hole. It's called Templ, and it turns your HTML into Go functions the compiler checks. Pair it with HTMX and the browser never downloads a JavaScript bundle you wrote. Not a small one. None. So we're going to build a real CRUD app on this stack, front to back, and then break it on purpose. We rename one field, run the build, and watch a template bug become a compiler error instead of a white screen. Then the part the tutorials skip, where this stack costs more than it saves in the HTMX maintainer's own words. One number to carry in. The median mobile page last year shipped 646 kilobytes of JavaScript, so what is Templ? It's a small language that compiles into Go, closer to a compiler front end than a template engine. Adrian Hesketh tagged its first release in May 2021, after working through Go's existing options and finding none that were both strongly typed and decent in an editor. His complaint was specific, and if you've written HTML/template, you've felt all three. Calling your own functions from a template is awkward, the editor support is thin, and templates crash at runtime because they aren't strongly typed. His stated priorities, in his order: simplicity, developer experience, performance. A Templ component reads like a Go function that happens to return markup. Parameters are real Go types with real names. Interpolation is curly braces. Composition is an @ calling another component the same way JSX calls a child. Then you run templ generate and it writes a plain Go file next to yours. Your component becomes a function that streams bytes into an IO bin trie. There's no virtual DOM, no reconciliation step, no runtime template parser. The component tree is a call tree, which is the entire trick. Once the HTML is Go, the Go compiler is your template checker. A missing field stops being a blank cell and becomes a build failure with a file name and a line number. It's also faster because the reflection is gone. In the community Go Templ benchmark, refreshed this February, Templ renders the simple page in 0.76 microseconds against HTML templates 4.23. That's about 5.5 times quicker, and it allocates 182 bytes instead of 673. Escaping comes with it, and it's stricter than you'd expect. Text nodes are escaped, class names get sanitized, and you cannot interpolate a variable inside a script or style tag at all. Templ refuses to compile it rather than trust you with it. Adoption is real but small. 5,481 packages import Templ, and it sits near 10,500 GitHub stars. 5 years in, it's still version 0.3, which is the first thing to weigh. There is still no version 1.0, and the API moves. If a new language in your build is a deal breaker, Components does a similar job in plain Go function calls, so the server renders safely now. But a page that only renders is a brochure. Something has to happen when the user clicks. That's the second half of the stack, and it's HTMX. HTMX starts from one observation about HTML. It already knows how to make requests, it's just crippled. Only links and forms can issue them. Only get and post are available, and the response can only replace the entire page. HTMX deletes all three limits using attributes you put in the markup. Any element can issue a request, any HTTP method, and the response replaces whichever part of the page you point at. So a delete button becomes hxDelete with a URL, hxTarget naming the row, and hxSwap saying outer HTML. That's the whole client for that feature. No fetch call, no state store, no event listener, no component to re-render. And the response comes back as HTML, not JSON. The server sends the piece of the page that changed, already rendered, and HTMX drops it exactly where you told it to. Templ has a matching feature built for this. Wrap a section in templ.Fragment, and a handler can render only that section. The full template still executes, but only the fragment reaches the browser. Which means one handler, one component tree, 2 response shapes, the whole page on first load, a fragment on every click after. That seam is where most stacks would need a second codebase and a serialization format between them. Now the size, measured rather than quoted. I pulled HTMX 2.0.10 off the CDN this morning, 51 kilobytes minified, 16.6 gzipped. Against that median mobile page's 646, it's about 1/40th. For contrast, I measured React's last official browser build, the UMD one, which React 19 stopped shipping. React plus React DOM came to 47 kilobytes gzipped, roughly 3 times HTMX's 16.6, before you write a single component of your own. Enough theory, let's build it. A task board. Create, list, toggle, delete. 4 files. File 1 is the model, a task struct with an ID, a title, and a done flag. File 2 is storage, which for the demo is a slice behind a mutux. Swap in Postgres later and nothing above it changes. File 3 is the components. A task row takes a task and returns a table row. A task list takes a slice and loops with an ordinary go for statement, not a template directive shaped like a for statement, an actual one, with the type checker watching it. The create form is a plain form element carrying hxPost to /tasks, hxTarget pointing at the list body, and hxSwap set to before end. Submit it and the new row appears at the bottom. There is no JavaScript anywhere on that page. File 4 is the server, and it's smaller than you'd think. Since Go 1.22, the standard library router takes method and path patterns directly, so post/tasks and delete/tasks/id are 2 lines, no framework required. The create handler parses the form, appends the task, and renders exactly 1 component, task row, straight into the response writer. About 6 lines, that's the entire create path, database to pixel, toggle is the same shape. HX patch on the checkbox. The handler flips the boolean, re-renders that single row, HTMX swaps it in place. Delete returns an empty body, and the row disappears. Then go build. 1 binary. Embed your CSS and the HTMX file with go:/embed, and that binary is the entire deployment, around 10 to 20 megabytes to copy onto a box, with no node_modules and no second build pipeline to keep alive. Now the part I promised. Go back to the task struct and rename title to text. It's the kind of rename you do without thinking on a Friday afternoon. Run templ generate, then go build. It fails, t.title undefined. Type task has no field or method title, and it points at the file and the line that came from your HTML. That's a thesis in one error message. The bug never reached a browser, a test, or a user. It reached the compiler, which is the cheapest place on earth for a bug to land. Compare the JSX path. Rename the field, and the JSX still parses. The bundler still builds. The page renders the literal word undefined, or, 1 level deeper, throws cannot read properties of undefined at a user at runtime. TypeScript catches a lot of that, and I want to be fair. In a well-typed codebase, it catches most of it. But it checks against the shape you promised the server would send. Templ checks against the struct the server actually has. It deletes the promise. One trap worth naming before you adopt this. Generated Go can go stale. You edit a Templ file, forget to regenerate, and build yesterday's HTML without noticing. Templ shipped a check flag in May 2026 for exactly that. Run it in CI, and a stale commit fails the pipeline. So let's audit the title, because zero JavaScript deserves scrutiny. HTMX is JavaScript. 16.6 kilobytes of it, running in your user's browser, doing what a framework does. It just isn't code you wrote or maintain. The accurate version of the claim is narrower and still worth a lot. No bundle you author, no client build step, no node_modules, no hydration pass, and exactly 1 language in the repository. It's also shrinking. I measured the HTMX4 beta from July. 36 kilobytes minified, 12.9 gzipped, about a fifth lighter than version 2's 16.6, while it replaces ixomliazeration with fetch and folds the DOM merging extension into the core. Carson Gross sicked version 3 entirely. Years earlier, he'd flatly ruled it out, asked about it later. His published answer was one word, oops. The substance is that fetch brings streaming responses straight into the DOM, and HTMX2 stays supported in perpetuity, rolled out over years. And this isn't a hobby stack. Drupal added HTMX to its core in May 2025, chosen partly because it ships 0 dependencies and a real security policy, and has been converting its ancient Ajax API ever since. As of late July, the Drupal 12 branch is running the HTMX4 beta, and yet, the reality check. NPM counted 840,000 HTMX downloads last month against 681 million for React. Script tags on a CDN don't touch NPM, so that's an undercount, but nothing undercounts by 800 times. So where does this stack break? HTMX publishes the answer itself, which I respect. Hypermedia fits text and image interfaces, forms saved to a database, and updates inside well-defined blocks. It does not fit spreadsheets, offline apps, or screens where a dozen widgets depend on each other. Then add the costs that don't make it into the blog posts. Every interaction is a round trip, So your network latency is now your interaction design. You end up with far more endpoints than a JSON API needs. And your front end and back end become properly coupled. One template edit can break a page. So the verdict is a lane, not a doctrine. If your app is forms over data, internal tools, admin panels, dashboards, most of what CRUD actually means, this stack hands you type-checked HTML, one deployable binary, and a front end you can hold in your head. If your app is Google Docs, it doesn't, and that's a scope, not a flaw. Pick the lane first, then pick the tools.